name's Libby Webb. I am so glad to have you guys on with me today. Again, apologize for a little bit of a delay. We've had a little small technical glitch this morning, but we're off and running and ready for an exciting show. I've got some really cool friends with me here today, fellow social media peeps, and really glad to have you guys on. I've got Valerie Shootman. Hey, Valerie.
Hey, Libby. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad you're here with us today. Thank you for coming over and sharing all the wonderful knowledge you're going to share with us today. And hey, Molly, I've got Molly Richardson on. She actually lives here in the local area where I live in Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, Molly.
Hello. Thanks for having me on today. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on with us too. This is going to be a really cool topic that we're going to be covering. Matter of fact, that topic that we're covering today is some top strategies that we're going to share with you on how to use Facebook advertising to launch and grow your new fan page. Or maybe you already have an existing fan page and you want to kind of get it jump started with some great activity and maybe even start monetizing that fan page and start earning some money from it. So we've got lots of great topics to cover today. I'm going to actually give a couple quick housekeeping items, as we call it, just to be sure you guys are able to communicate with us throughout the Hangout today. There is a little bit of delay between what we say and when you hear it. So if you're over in the chat window down below the video making comments, just know we'll be actually monitoring those and going back and forth. So if you actually scroll down below the video, you'll see a comment section. Now there is a little checkbox you'll need to want to uncheck that says refresh. Uncheck that box before you start typing your comment. Post in there what you want to ask, and then hit post comment, and then go back and recheck that box. That way, if you don't uncheck the box, you may get mid-sentence, and it will refresh your screen, and you'll lose what you started typing. So that's a little trick to do there with the Facebook comment stream. All right, let's see here. Also, be grateful if you guys would just pop into the box down there at the bottom. Let us know where you're joining us from. It's always fun to see where from around the globe we have people joining our live Hangouts every week. Also, if you'll, up there in the very top left-hand corner, you'll see several a Facebook share, Google+, Twitter. One of the really fun things about using these social platforms is making it social. So share the Hangout with us. Share the Hangout that you're on with us today with your friends and let them know that you're learning some really cool strategies about Facebook. So if they would like to join us just by you sharing, they may come over and check out this Hangout today and learn something that might help them grow their business. So that's really what it's all about. We're here today to help you and help others grow their business. Let me see if there's anything else that I might have missed here in my notes. Let's see. Anything you girls can think of that I might have forgotten to mention?
Sounded good to me, Libby.
Okay. All right, so let me just give you guys a quick background on me. I've basically spent a little over 25 years actually in the manufacturing sector. Before my husband and I actually quit working corporate America, and we purchased a little barbecue takeout restaurant here in Alabama. So for about the last 5.5 years, my husband and I have been having a lot of fun serving our local community, some really awesome barbecue, and just really having fun learning a lot about social media and how to grow our business, because we're located out in the country. We're not in the Huntsville city limits, so we've tried to use every avenue that we could to grow our business, and social media has actually just been so much fun for me personally. I've kind of taken it up as a mission for me in terms of helping other businesses with growing their presence online using social strategies. And so doing a Hangout like this today is the kind of the basis for what I'm trying to do, is helping people get their voice out there using online strategies like Google Hangouts. So this is what it's all about for me, is helping you guys grow your business. So let me think, what else do I need to mention? I'm going to keep that brief today and not get too far into details. Let's see. So I guess I'm going to say one more thing, is that the one big thing that I think I have figured out with my restaurant is that the power of referrals and personal testimony, personal recommendations, however you want to call it. The bottom line is, in a restaurant, if you go somewhere and you really love the food, that restaurant grows quicker by you telling other people about it. So the same thing with this show, or even your business. If you have a really wonderful business and you want people to know about it, you actually have to ask them to share it with their friends and family. It's just one of those things that you really have to do. Some people, it's not second nature for them to share. So as I asked you earlier about clicking those buttons at the top, if you'll do that getting started here today, that'll really help grow some exposure here for our show today and get other people tuned in and possibly helped by this information that we're going to share. So without any further ado, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and jump over to Valerie. If you'll do a quick introduction, Valerie, and then we'll review our topics at hand and get started.
Sure, no problem, Libby. So I'm a Facebook marketing expert, and I've got an extensive technical background along with a marketing and business background. I actually was a teacher at a school for kids with learning disabilities, so I have a teaching background as well, and I taught the staff and students to all the technology as well as brought in the servers and set up all the computers, and that's really where I got started in social media back in 2009, doing it for the school, and then my friends and started asking me to do it, and other people I knew, and before long social media became my life, and since about 2011 I have actually really focused in on Facebook and Facebook marketing, and the last year has solely been Facebook ads for me. So what I love about Facebook ads is you can target in so narrow on your focus and right to your ideal client, and do that in a fashion where you can really maximize your advertising dollars. And that's what really thrills me, is to be able to help people grow their business and do it in a way that they can really attract their ideal customers, and do that all while maximizing their ROI on their advertising budget.
Awesome.
So,
that's a good point. Absolutely. All right, Molly, give us a quick introduction on you, would you?
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Molly Richardson. I live in Madison, Alabama, really close to Libby and Huntsville. I started out, I'm actually an engineer, and I've kind of transformed into doing online marketing from that, and it's a really long story. But to make it short, basically I'm really technically inclined, and I love computers, and I love helping people. And so I really like helping small businesses and small to medium-sized businesses learn how to effectively use social media across the board. A lot of times they have no idea what they're doing. They don't necessarily have the time to learn everything, but they definitely need to, they need to know a little bit more than what they already know. So I like to get my hands in there and help the local communities out.
Awesome. You know, as a small business owner myself, I really appreciate business owners that get out there and help other businesses. I mean, it's called reciprocation, but in our case here, we're trying to actually, make a living with it. So it's awesome to take your passion and your experience and get out there and put it to work in the world and helping other people, which in turn helps all of our economies grow locally. So I think it's fantastic what you girls are doing, and I'm really looking forward to our content. So let's just jump in and get started. Now, I do have another guest that will be joining us. She's not able to get on with us on the Hangout here, but we are going to be fielding, doing a hot seat on her business fan page, and we'll get to that towards the end of our conversation today. But we'll be fielding questions, and she'll be responding to us via chat here in the window. So look forward to jumping into her fan page shortly. So let me get over here, and Valerie, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you if you want to get staged up with your screenshot.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up here and just give a quick overview real fast. So we're going to be talking initially here, we're going to be covering how to generate thousands of targeted leads, targeted likes at using Facebook advertising for that social proof. So Valerie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you get started.
Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to talk about is how to generate thousands of targeted likes for 1 to 2 cents each through Facebook ads. And why you would want the targeted likes is to increase your social proof and authority. If you only have, 20, 30, 40 likes on your Facebook page, people don't really look to you as a leader in your niche, and that you really have a lot of value to share with them. However, if you have several hundred, several thousand, then that really ups your level in other people's minds. The key thing there is the targeted likes, and that's what I'll focus on. Also, the like conversion strategy, and that's how to turn likes into opt-ins and customers. Because if you have a lot of likes on your page, you know, that is on the Facebook platform. So, you know, Facebook is a big-time player in the social media world. Not to say they'll go away tomorrow, but you never know what happens. If they do go away, then all your fans go away with them. So the like conversion strategy actually helps you turn those likes on your Facebook fan page into opt-ins. So if something did happen, you would still have them on your own list that you owned, and can continue to build the relationship with those ideal clients. And then also, we're going to talk about some photos that you can use, because when you run the like ads, you're going to need photos as part of that like ad campaign, and there are several different places where you can get those for free in a lot of instances. So I'm just going to go through this part really quick. Like I said, the likes are to build social proof.
Hey, Valerie, let me interject for just a minute.
Sure.
Maximize your window thing that you've got going on there so it doesn't cover up your text. And then while you're doing that real quick,
okay.
yeah, just drag it up to where it goes left to right, top to bottom, so it's as big as the screen. Now, real quick while you're doing that, I forgot to mention, folks, that in the chat window down below, the very first comment that I posted, if you will reply to that and post your questions under that very first post, that will help us kind of contain everything, and we can respond to everything right there in the that very first comment. So hopefully you can see what I'm referring to right below the video. Scroll down and you'll see the very first comment. Okay? Yeah, there you go, Valerie. Just drag those corners.
Is that better? Or that's still showing up on my screen, isn't it?
Yeah. Just drag that box down. Yeah, sit on the left, go to the left, and drag it down all the way to there you go. There you go.
All right. Okay.
All right.
There we go. Is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Perfect. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about the baseline. You know, 1,000 fans is kind of the first benchmark, and then 5,000 fans, and then 10,000 fans. And really, once you get above 10,000 fans, then people really look towards you as a leader, to that credibility. So just keep going. And you know, I want to relate it to the fact it doesn't matter if you're in the online world or the offline world. If you see a bunch of people, like at Libby's Q restaurant, if you just saw 1 or 2 people there, you would think, oh, maybe her food's not too good. But if you see a lot of people there, hundreds of people there, then you're going to want to get in on the action and think it's really good. Same when you go by a roadside stand along the road, same online. If there's only a couple of people liking and commenting, it's not too interesting. But if there's hundreds of shares and likes and comments, then that draws even more people, and it's kind of a perpetual. The key thing there is that people like to go where others are, and they trust faster when others are already engaged in the activity. Okay, so when we're doing a like campaign, we're going for the cheapest likes. So when you do that, you actually want to go really wide on your focus, but not so wide you're not targeted to your niche. You're still going to be targeted down to your niche, but you're going to go as wide as possible while doing that. And I'm going to show some examples here in just a minute. The key thing on the like ads, you're going to run those on the right side. You're going to be advertising to potential customers, but you're going to do it in a manner what's called a pattern interrupts, looking to get people's attention and stop them for that momentary second. Now, a lot of times photos of animals will perform better on the right side, but not necessarily so. It really depends on your niche. The key things you want to focus in on, ask a question in the headline. I mean, I have found that a question in the headline far supersedes anything else in the headline. If you ask a question and have it directly related to your audience, then that is key. And then you want to keep the actual text body of the ad really, really short. And of course, you always want to test and find the right combination. Okay. If you actually serve, if your target audience is in other countries, then by all means add those countries in, because what Facebook does is actually reward you for that by giving you cheaper like clicks. So if you have customers that you could serve in Canada, great, add that in. If you have customers that you can serve, in the European Union, in South Africa, wherever, if you serve those, open it up to those people because you will get cheaper likes. But do not open it up to those other countries if you only serve people in the US, because then you're building your fan page with people who are not even your ideal clients. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. And the sponsored stories, you want to always remove those. I've never found those to do anything for me. They actually kind of detract from the ad. And Facebook always puts sponsored stories as a default, so you want to. And of course, since you're going for page likes, you want to really target people who are not already connected to the page. And again, here's kind of the format, overall overriding format of that are going to run on the right side. It's going to be your headline, that's a question, and then the copy is going to be simply click like if you love ... So if I'm advertising to social media managers, I might say social media manager, ? Click like if you love social media management. I mean, really, truly, it sounds crazy that it could be that simple, but the more simple you keep it, the better results you're going to have. Just a few examples of page likes that you kind of see the hockey stick where it goes straight up. So that was organic growth in the beginning, and then I started running page like ads, and it shot up. I mean, literally, you can get 500, 1,000, even 2,000 likes a day on a particular page with this advertising. Okay, here we're getting into a little more specifics. So you can see that here it was 7 cents a page like, so not great. I mean, a lot of times if you're in a really targeted niche, 7 cents a page like is good. But again, this was a picture of her on her bike, and she's in the personal development and having more freedom. So that's what I put, more freedom. Like if you'd like more freedom to enjoy your life. This particular one got 859 page likes across the period. So I'll keep going. What I did was just change from her picture of a bike to this picture of the dog and change the line in the copy a little bit. I still targeted the same precise interest, and you can see I'm targeting a huge group of 70 million people. The price came down just a little bit, not terribly great, but just a little bit. Okay, and if I keep going, then this is for my own page I did for Meta Social Media, which is also my Valerie Shootman page, and I got that down to 2 cents per page like. You can see down here I'm doing paper, search engine marketing, content marketing, email marketing, all these really broad interests, but they're things that my target audience would be include talking about and like. I did do multiple countries because I can have people in multiple countries, and you'll notice that you can actually get by using the same picture across different niches if it's something generic like the dogs. Again, it's just a pattern interrupt where you are going to stop the flow of what the people are doing. And here's a little difference. You know, Facebook has changed some things. When I did these screenshots, it was back in August and September. They've changed a few things and actually made it much easier for you. If you just say you want to do page likes, it will automatically do this optimized CPM for you. And what happens with that is a lot of times it will get you a much cost per page. If I know the niche really well, I always go with optimize CPM first, which is the default when you click on page for your ads. If I don't know the niche very well and don't know if the people are going to relate to what I'm trying to say, then I still go CPC, which is cost per click, just so I can know if I'm resonating with my target audience, because the cost per click, you immediately see the clicks and how they're coming through. OCPM, you don't see that. So just a little bit of difference there. And here I went and got on the right side, again, the OCPM, so it got down a more optimized CPM, and you can see over here the page like actually got down to 2 cents a page like. So dropping down, and that's what I would suggest, that you always do it on the right hand side. Used to be you had to go into the power editor to be able to mark those right hand side only. They have made it so much easier just in the last month on the Facebook ads dashboard, where you can set right side only, and you can set your OCPM and your cost per click. You can control all of that now from the ads dashboard, where before you had to actually go into the power editor, and the power editor can be kind of difficult to use. It's kind of a little bit of a beast and not very intuitive of what you should do on it. Okay, this, so those were all examples of ads that I had run last August and September. I just already had that put together in a presentation, so to show you. But I am currently running Light Camp for a page of mine called Fresh Food, Fresh Start. And this one just yesterday, I just started this page from scratch on December 6th, and I've been running like campaign ads to it. $5 a day is all I'm spending, and yesterday I hit this with the same actual beginning ad that I was doing. It says the cost here is 1 cent per page like, but if you calculate this out, that I got 535 page likes for $5, and it actually comes out to 0.009 cents, so actually less than 1 cent per page like, which is great. You know, back in the summer and early fall, you could easily achieve the 1, 2, 3 cent page likes. These days, since about November, late October, early November, it's been much more difficult to achieve that. So I was glad to be able to see this again. And again, you're going, you know, wider on your audience, but keep it for your country. I have another one that I'm doing where she's only doing US and Canada, but I'm still being able to get 4 and 5 cent page likes. My key thing is, if you're going to spend the money for advertising, you still want those targeted likes. And here's another thing that John Loomer brought up, which I thought was very interesting. I hadn't even thought about it before until he brought it up, was that if you're doing a like pane and running like ads, and you're doing it to all sorts of different countries that you don't even, you know, are not your ideal audience, not your ideal client, then what's happening is other people are advertising to your page in Facebook, then it's kind of skewing the demographics for the pages and the page likes. So you're kind of screwing up the algorithm of what Facebook's trying to do and provide for other advertisers. So not only is it beneficial for you to do the like ads and run them properly, where you're only targeting your ideal clients, it's beneficial for the Facebook ad platform and other Facebook advertisers as a whole when they target your page and your fan. Okay. Do we have any questions coming up, Libby, that I can stop and answer right now, or no?
Yeah, with respect to, let's see, so we're focused on like ads right now. So let me hold off on this one question until we get to the next part where we're talking more about running like a page post ad type scenario. If we even touch on that, I'll touch on it on the when I get to the FB LeadFinder section, because that's where it's being asked. So it has to do with custom
that's
audience.
fine. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. And okay, so I'll just keep going. Is that fine?
Yeah, we're good. Yep, keep going.
Oh, great. So so that's the basis of how you would run a like campaign. And I mean, I don't know if you want me to hop over, Libby, and show a quick, setup of that, or if that was enough, we can hop over or keep going. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, let's move on through the other items, and what we'll do when we actually look at the examples, like the Hotseat as well as the Molly's page, we can actually maybe structure one as an example, or look at one that's already set up. Maybe we can do it that way. That way we're getting through our topics. Because just a heads up to everybody that's watching right now, we may in fact go long today because we do have a lot of really good stuff to cover, and the Hotseat that we're going to do is really going to give you some really good strategies that you can actually put to work immediately on your own fan pages. So if you guys are good to go long, if you can't actually stay on live with us, just be sure to post your questions out on that very first comment in the chat box down at the bottom. We'll get those addressed for you even if you're not on live, and then you can come back and watch the replay later. So, okay, Val, go ahead.
Well, okay. Can I interject for a second?
Yeah, sure.
With you talking about the like campaigns and everything, it got me thinking. Actually, on my recent campaign that I ran for my fan page, I actually found that the sponsored stories, once you get a certain number of likes, the sponsored stories, the Facebook actually gives them to you for about half the cost of what I paid for the normal ad likes. So I actually have a positive, positive, from the sponsored stories. So.
Yeah, and have you seen the latest? They're fixing to take those away. Facebook's actually fixing to do away with sponsored stories.
They're so good though. People, the social proof of somebody else that you know liking it is like huge.
Yeah.
At least I think it is.
Yeah.
Right. And so did you break that out, Molly, into a separate campaign where you just did sponsored stories, or you had it combined in with your original
when you just leave it
so
checked,
you were running,
when you leave it checked in the page like campaign, it creates a different ad, but it puts it under the same campaign, and so that's how I have it.
Right.
And my sponsored stories on this last one actually got double the likes, and I don't calculate it out exactly, but I got them for 2 cents for the sponsored story and 3 cents for the regular ad. So
interesting.
And I had a 13.5% click-through rate on that.
Great. Great. Yeah, I think it really depends on the niche and how passionate those people are on that topic, and how many of their friends, because I've seen it before where the sponsored stories didn't get anything. And I've also seen where people have broke out the sponsored stories into a separate campaign. And I'm big on just running one ad per campaign so I can control everything, because you can't, if you run the ad stories in the same campaign, you can't control what Facebook is showing. But if you create another campaign and just take out the sponsored stories, or leave this, if the sponsored stories are already gaining traction in the other campaign, you can leave those on and pause the other ad, and then start a new campaign with a new ad and no sponsored stories. My point being, only have one thing going per campaign, and then you know exactly what's happening, and you can run your conversion numbers better, and for your ad costs. Because what happens when you combine multiple things in the same campaign, even if it's a sponsored story or a the ad, you have no control over how many repetitions, how much Facebook is showing each one.
Yeah, because
same
your
thing
budget's for the whole campaign.
For the same thing, I run into that now. That they've set up the like campaign the way they have in the ads dashboard, where you can actually add in up to 6 images into your like campaign right off the bat.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I like that. I love that, except I love that to do a quick test of what image is grabbing people's attention. But what happens is, on the very first day you start it, within a couple of hours, Facebook decides, just based off of the clicks and interaction, which picture is getting most traction. And then they essentially stop showing all the other pictures.
Yeah.
So such a
Very
short
true.
window of time, that they're doing it. So that. And then what I like to do is another picture that I really feel should have gotten more, traction than what it did. I'll actually break that out into a brand new campaign all by. And a lot of times I found that picture will, supersede the picture that Facebook had. Yeah, outperform the picture that Facebook had picked in their quick 2 to 3 hour test.
Right.
Just, something to keep in mind as you're doing those campaigns.
Hey, Valerie, go ahead and take your screen off screen share while you're talking real quick. As I do have a question here that I think is a good point to address it. Tony, thanks, Tony, for joining us from Boston. How long do you run these 1 to 2 cent per like campaigns for it to really work? Where do you, so unclick me, Valerie, there you go. Just did you undo your screen share? Just turn off your screen share.
Yeah,
okay, there you go.
I undid it.
I see you now.
Okay. I think it's just a lag. I clicked it again. It may have.
Yeah. Did you hear the question?
I can answer real quick. For me, I actually got a higher. My cost per click has actually been increasing since the first time I started it. Because when I first started that campaign, it kind of almost went viral, and I was getting a lot of extra likes organically. Then now, where it kind of peaked, and then now it's kind of, I guess, kind of flattening out to what it normally is, just with the ad. So I guess it kind of depends on how much reach you get organically as well.
It does. That fresh food, fresh start, that overall since December 6th has been an average of cents per page like overall, and it's actually started there and has hung around there. Now yesterday I got below 1 cent. I have some. It totally depends on the niche that you're in and how much how much traction you're getting. Like that page, I get 10 to 20 organic likes a day, which is not huge, but it's steady. It's very steady in that. And what I started noticing yesterday too was a particular post on the page got tons and tons of interaction, and then it was like my page or my ad for the day dropped cost, but on days I don't have as much action on the page, then it's not the case. And it seems that just started, being that. And then I've got other pages where in the first week to 2 weeks, the ad going up. I mean, you can get them down below, and then after a week or so, they will just keep up and up and up, and you obviously have to pause that. And again, I'm for the local market too, and for the local market, it's crazy because you actually, it's such a tight market. You're going to pay more in the 20 to 50 cent range for that, and those don't tend to have as much star as the white. Are you still there, Libby?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep, I'm just answering Tony over here on the chat. Yep. Okay. So in general, keep the budget, low at that $5 a day range, and then monitor your cost and the viral nature that it's getting. And once it starts to flatten out and decline, then pause that and then try something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And $5 a day is what I found. You know, I've went up as high as $10 a day, but it seems that your ad cost per page like actually goes up. I find instead that I much rather create a new campaign at $5 a day and try a new picture or try a new headline or new targeting, something like that. But the $5 a day, what happens is Facebook obviously knows you only have that $5 to spend, so they do a quick little test and run a little bit of your ad spend to kind of get their metrics down, and then what they do is spread it out over the course of the day, and you actually end up getting better ROI on that $5 ad spend than if you do like 10 or 20. Bigger portion of that ad spend when they do their little test to see how it's going to perform. So you know, bottom line is you end up paying more per page like or per click when you have the higher ad spend on your budget for the campaign, your daily budget.
Okay. All righty. Well, I think let's see. Yeah, I don't think we have any other questions at this point. So so go ahead and let's see here. Let me scroll down just a smidge. I see a couple other things people have posted here. So Henry asks, when you set up the ad campaign, do you make all 6 ads with different images like the option? Let's see. When you set up the ad campaign, do you make all 6 ads with different images like the option? Does that make sense to you?
I'm not sure, like the option. Well, maybe he's meaning, do you select 6 different images and then they're all have the same headline and the same copy? If that's what he's asking, yeah. So essentially it's just the picture that's different, and then you can see pictures performing best, and then you can take that picture and then start different campaigns to test headline against headline or copy against copy or interest against interest.
Yeah. So it takes a little bit of work there, but once you get it kind of nailed down, you find the ones that resonate most with people that are going to get you traction. So, okay. Yeah, you know, it's really good for people to understand, and I just want to really clarify here, folks, that, you know, I realize that this is a lot of technical information, and what we're saying maybe just going woo right over your head. Don't worry about it, okay? It's understand. I think the big gist of this is that, you know, whether you understand the ins and outs, the details behind this, I really want to be sure you guys understand that there is a lot of work that goes into running campaigns like this. So when you get out there and you are thinking about hiring someone to do this kind of work for you, for your business, you'll understand at least the complexity of what these folks are doing for you, and maybe you'll understand a little bit more about this. And maybe it'll take a couple of times of watching the video today for you to understand some of the concepts that Valerie's explaining here, that you'll at least be able to interview these folks and know that you are hiring the right person to do the job for you. So that's one other aspect of this. I want to be sure you understand that whether you actually do this for yourself or not, you'll at least understand enough to know who to hire when it comes to getting someone on board to help you do this for your business. So
yes, and also I would like to say on that, if you're going to hire somebody else to do it, make sure that you run the ads in your ad manager and you make them a manager. That way you keep all of the statistics. And so if you ever change your social media manager, or at some point, you know, you have to part ways for some reason or another, that way you get to keep the statistics. Because if you run it on their ad manager, you don't get the stats, you won't see what they're doing, and you won't be able to, I mean, you don't have to necessarily nitty-gritty follow exactly what they're doing, but you can see, you can kind of see what their strategy is, and if you don't agree, you can, you know, you can talk about that. So definitely do it under your own ad manager account.
All right, good point. All right, well, we're blowing through our time here. It's amazing how much how much we're covering just on like campaign here, but how much time we're going through. But hey, it's all good information. So Valerie, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and let's move on into our next topic, and then we'll work in some of these other questions coming in as we can. So folks, as you have questions, please, if you'll note them underneath that very first comment in the chat window, that would be great. Just reply to that very first comment, and we'll keep everything together. All right, go ahead, Val.
Okay. Let me come up with this. There we go. Okay, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So what we talked about up to this point was for just getting people to like your page. And then what you want to do once you get those likes is gain opt-ins and customers. And you can do that several different ways. So you, of course, want to have good content that you're posting, and you want to do it in a strategic way. So you want to do it in a manner when the most amount of people are going to see that, and you can go into your and take a look in your insights and see when your fans are online and post at those specific times. You know, anytime we talk about content marketing and organic reach and that manner, it takes a lot longer. Just keep that in mind. You still need that. You need both the organic and the paid. Just the organic takes a long time to build up, and it takes a lot of resources and time to do. The good thing about the advertising portion is it actually can do it really quickly, and you know, of course, it costs money to do the advertising, but you start seeing results so much quicker, and you're not taking, especially if you hire someone else, you're not taking up all that time that you could be doing what you do best in your business. So when you're advertising, you're going to do it in a very targeted, strategic way. And the bonus when you're advertising to your fans is that you can actually well, they already know and like you because you've been interacting with them. Actually lowers your ad cost to target your fans and increases your conversions. So here's just some different ways that I've got screenshots of how you can be different in the news feed. Like this picture, it's a picture of them talking, having fun, and then they've got a link to go learn more up above the picture. The great thing about doing pictures is that you can change picture description and change it at any time. So you could do a countdown to an event, you could change up the headline in the copy, you can do any of those things. Now I will say that the way they put this picture does create a problem for advertising because you can't have more than 20% text on a photo, and Facebook actually they will flag you for it and disapprove the ad. So you have to be careful of that. But just going in the newsfeed one gets attention.
And I'll share a link real quick in the chat window about how to test your images for that 20% text rule. Facebook has a tool over in the ad panel that allow you to test that, and I'll post a link to that.
Yeah, that is very helpful to pull in.
Yeah.
So again, you know, when you're sharing content, you want to share content that is going to either be educational, entertaining, or empower somebody to do something. Those are the three big categories. This one is interesting to look at because it's not a photo you see every day, and they do something you know, kind of unique. They put the link there, but then they put actual people that are in the photo and tag them and just kind of help give that, pay it forward with the social shouts there, and you can see they get a tremendous amount of people liking it and sharing it. And you know, as we're talking about content, the likes are good, The comments are even better, and then the shares are like gold, because the shares are talking about in the beginning, that's that word of mouth advertising. You're not having to pay anything for. People are just sharing it with their friends and family, and helping you spread the word, which is. Okay, here's a little thing that you can do that's called photo stacking. You can actually, a lot of people just put one photo on their timeline at a time, or on their Facebook fan page at a time. If you actually take those photos, group them together in an album, you can do what's known as photo stacking, and then you get likes on that particular album. So as you put new pictures in it, you can actually start from where you left off. You don't have to start from ground zero every time with your likes and comments. That's a great way to maintain traction without starting over. And then of course you can hashtag and put links into your photo albums to help drive traffic back to your site and drive traffic to these hashtags. Again, I'm really driving home this point. Here's animals and something different, back to the entertainment. People love to be entertained and love to see something different. I mean, how often do you actually see a dog riding on the back of a dolphin? If you see this picture in your news feed, it's going to stop you in your tracks momentarily. And you can see over 10,000 people liked it, over 654 people shared it. This is the type of interaction as a Facebook fan page owner. You would love to see this type of engagement going on your, even better that you have the link there. And again, this is a photo that you could actually advertise, to boost up the engagement, or advertise it for website link clicks and help drive traffic to your website. Okay, and we're talking about opt-ins. So this is an example of an opt-in that is on a Facebook custom tab. It's a little video and the opt-in box there where she's collecting the name and email address just in exchange to get these this audio that she's created that has these 6 strategy secrets. So just think, if you can give something away for free that people will give their name and email address for, that is a great way to use Facebook and Facebook ads. Now you can do it on a custom tab like this, but remember, custom tabs in Facebook do not show up on mobile. So what platform you go, whoever you go with that does this for you, you have to make sure that shows up in mobile, because
like what we're doing here with 22 Social. This actual Fanpage Hangout is an example of what Valerie's talking about right here. So when you guys came to my live page to actually register, when you clicked on the register, that green button actually, first time you click that button, it asks you to authorize the 22 Social app to share your contact information, and I have a note right there above it that says, by you clicking on this, it allows me to email you the reminders about this. So that's in fact what you're doing. You're opting in to my list so that I can in turn email you when I have Hangouts coming up and whatnot. Same exact concept.
Yeah, exactly. And in this case, I mean, this is, once you get people on your opt-in list, then you can continue to build that relationship with off of Facebook. Just a different way to. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
This was just a different way to do it, had a photo of the CD and then had the little bit of text in the photo description and had the URL there. I love using Smart URL because you can track everything. You can track where the clicks are coming from. You can track how many are mobile, how many are desktop, how many are iPad, how many are iPhone, how many are Android. It just gives you some great information to work with. You can see this. So what we did was advertised for this for engagement, and specifically for people that like to click on websites, and 612 people liked it and 252 shares. Now again, I can't stress enough how important it is you can get people sharing your content, because that's free. You didn't have to pay a dime for people share button and share it. All you had to do was provide great content, and even better in the posts, a lot of times if you encourage people to share, then they'll go ahead and do it. But again, I'm still amazed at how well this works. Just with the photo like this and driving traffic to there and get opt-ins. A new way that Facebook has is the link share. So now when you put a link in, it automatically creates a bigger area. So that's what a lot of people are going to now. I've seen that work really good in some niches. Again, you have to test. Every time I start an ad campaign, I have a strategy in place. I have the end goal and a strategy in place to reach that end goal, and then I test everything against each other. Pictures against video, pictures and video against the link directly, headlines against headlines, copy against copy, targeting the precise interest against different precise interests, because it can be drastically different. You can go from, for opt-in leads, of course, those are going to be much more expensive than what the like campaign that I talked about. You're going to go $2 to $3 in almost every niche for getting an opt-in lead. So that means for each person that signs up to your list, you're going to pay $2 to $3 through advertising to achieve that one sign-up. And that's actually really good numbers. A lot of people are paying $7, $8, $9, $10 per opt-in when they don't have to, if they just know the proper strategies and how to optimize that.
That's right.
Is there any more questions there, Libby, on opt-in or what we're going to before I hop to where you can find photos?
No, not yet. Not specific to that. The other couple questions we're going to touch on in a minute.
Okay, then I'll just run through these photos real quick, and then I will we'll continue on. So photos are a big thing. The images are the #1 thing in ads, because that is what initially attracts the attention of people. There's several places that you can go to get your images. Pinterest is a good one. You can use the search feature and just search for whatever you're looking for. So you could actually put in the search, dog on a dolphin, might not get any, but you get the point. If you put what you're looking for in the search, and then you're going to find all the pictures in Pinterest. I always like to give credit to the original source when possible, so if I'm doing it on my page or something like that, I always give credit to the original source. Of course, when you're doing it in an ad, you don't have that ability to within the ad, but if it's somebody that's really popular, or they have a lot of copyright stuff, I will always ask them first. That's one thing you want to really be aware of when you're doing images, that you don't run into any copyright issues, because a lot of people have their images copyrighted, and they own them, and they want to be the only one that controls those images. You need to be careful of that. On Facebook, what you can do is use the search feature to locate pages within your niche, and then you can look at the photos that are getting the most likes and shares and comments, just like that dog on a dolphin. So then you could go to that person on that page, the page manager, and say you'd love to share the photo with your fans and followers. Is it all right with them if you upload it on your page? Now, I want to make a distinction there about what I just said. Of course, any Facebook post, it's got the share feature there, so you can always share it, but that's going to link back to the. What's even better is if you download that photo off of that page and upload that photo on your page, because then all the traction starts coming to your page. So it's better, but I would never encourage you to do that without asking permission. Most of the time, people are going to be fine with it. So it's just something to keep in mind. Of course, once you upload it on your page, you could use it in multiple ways. You could use it for the photo stacking technique that we talked about. You can also run Facebook ads to that post and drive engagement on that post with that photo. Google also has a thing that a lot of people don't know about, and that's the advanced search feature. So if you click on the advanced search feature, then you can actually filter images that have commercial usage rights. And they have two different categories, commercial usage rights just as the picture is, and then where you can actually modify the picture. So you could modify it and put your website URL on it, or modify it in, any way, crop it, whatever. So I like to go to that as well. And then a few more that you can use. There's free photo sites like Stock Exchange. That's one I've used for years. I really like that one. It's got a lot of good free ones in there. You can also use like iStock Photo or 123RF, which is 123 royalty-free photo. They have a few free ones, and then they have tons of paid ones where you can pay $1, $2, $3 and get the complete rights photos. Again, just as a recap, animal photos and inspirational photos usually do really, really well, but you have to remember that 20% text rule.
Okay. Yep.
Awesome. You can also do the same thing on Flickr. As like with Google Images.
I didn't have that in there.
Yeah.
Perfect, Molly. Perfect.
All right, let's see here. Let me pop back over. I'm sorry, I'm kind of flipping you guys around on camera here. So we've got our, all right, so we're going to hop over to Molly, and we're going to talk about how you can use current events and trends that are going on to actually gain attention on your fan page. And then Molly, I want to at that point bring in and show the case study of the page you just created a little over a week ago, and show everybody what you've been able to accomplish with that page by using a current event or a trend.
Yes, definitely. So as I mentioned earlier, I live in Alabama, and if you don't know, you should know, but Alabama football is huge. And football in general is huge in this state. So what I decided to do, actually, like last Tuesday after I got back from San Diego, I started a Facebook fan page for Derrick Henry. He is the running back for the Alabama football team, and he was only a freshman this last year, and he is about to blow up. There were lots of comments on social media about him after the event and everything, and I'm actually a little late to the trend. If I had done it the day of the game or the day after, it probably would have been a little bit better. But I just made a simple Facebook fan page, started posting stuff like articles that were talking about him and about Alabama football and about next season and stuff like that. And so far I've spent $7.33. I'm looking at it right now. And the page went from 0. And let me see if I can find the page.
Yeah,
and
share your screen, Molly, so we can see it.
Okay. Let me go back to my Google Hangout.
The name of the page and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't even know how to share my screen in this thing.
Oh.
Okay, I figured it out, I think.
Okay.
Is that it?
It takes just a second for it to pop over.
There we go.
All right. Awesome. So this is the page that I started. I actually went back in. Initially, I just had that picture, and I went back in and put a quote on the cover page and everything, and kind of spruced it up a little bit recently. But when I first started, I just had the basic picture, for the cover, the profile picture, and I just started an ad that basically was like, "Do you love my ad was, do you love Derrick Henry as much as we do?" And I put it on the right hand and the news feed, which, why didn't it show me it? View in news feed. And normally, maybe because I'm acting as the page and not manager. Let's try this again. Because you can see what it looks like, what it'll look like in somebody's news feed by clicking on these. I like using those. There we go. And so this is actually showing a sponsored story because it says that some of my friends like the page. And then it says, "Do you love Derrick Henry as much as we do?" It's got him running and easy like. I mean, the ad, it took off. Let's see. There's the spike of when I started it, and I had no likes on the 13th. and then it jumped. And this is just with the ad, the money portion. But if we look at the actual the insights of the page, I was surprised myself on how well it took off. But I jumped on the, oh, I'm still screech here. I jumped on the trend, and it just blew up. And it's kind of funny because I do ads all the time for local businesses, and I've been seeing I can get prices for about 20 cents when I get them, because you got when it's local, you've got to really target. There's no point in targeting somebody in Missouri when it's a local barbecue shop in Alabama. So
Right.
sometimes you've got to pay that extra, I guess. You got to pay the extra for getting that, when you start getting really, really specific. But where, yeah. So it just kind of depends on what your target is. But so there's the spike in the likes from when I started it on Tuesday to Wednesday. And as you can see, it's kind of tapered because the virality of it, I guess, is kind of the shock of it, the page starting, kind of lowered. But I've actually been getting crazy reach. The reach is going bigger, but the likes aren't as much as that first day. So that's kind of interesting.
Hey, Molly, can you
Yeah.
flip over to the likes tab? I'd be very interested to see your organic likes.
Oh yeah, it's
Paid
way more
likes.
organic likes, yeah. And the other thing too that I found was really interesting is of all those likes, of all those 2,469, almost 2,000 of those were mobile. I think that's about 75 or 76% were mobile.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
if that doesn't stress how mobile we are and how mobile you need to be, that's definitely a kicker. So,
Yeah.
and actually I had a lot of unlikes that day, but then I've gotten less and less. So apparently they're not weekend people, or I didn't post as much good stuff. But I kind of, well, no, because then my reach is crazy. So I don't know. Sometimes you have to do it for more than a week to kind of see more of a trend on what days people are on and everything. Like it took probably 3 or 4 days for this tab to even fill up. But I'm able to see, mostly men, which makes sense. It's football. In this 25 to, I guess, 40, 50 range. It's kind of the key. So now I know who to target for what I post. So.
And that, I think that's really important for people to understand that when you're looking at, if you get my mouse in the right place here, if you are spending the money to run these ads, you really have to look at your statistics and see the information. You've spent the money, you run the ads, you're getting the likes. That's just one part of the equation. You're doing that to, one, build the trust and authority and establish some authority so people will actually start monitoring your page. But once you've done that, use that information to see who's responding, and then be able to curtail any other ads that you run based on the niche that you found and the age range and the demographics that seem to be responding most to your ads. Because the more highly targeted you are with your ads, the better they're going to perform. The better they perform, the cheaper they're going to be per click. It's going to cost you less money. So overall, it's best to get it more tuned in, dialed in, once you've determined who you're going to target.
Yeah, the first ad that I ran was kind of my starting juice, and now I'm at the point where I'm kind of figuring out what ads are going to get the people who didn't like that first ad,
Right.
kind of a thing. So.
Okay. Any other topics there, Molly, you want to cover in terms of current events and trends and how you can take advantage of those, or any other topics?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, yesterday during the AFC and the NFC championship games for the NFL, I used Canva, which is like a graphics editor tool, but you can use pretty much any tool like PicMonkey or anything. But I actually created a couple little social 800 pixel by 800 pixel image and had Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, and asked who would they want on their team. And the comments on that were like awesome. And then after that, I did one with the running backs, Frank Gore and Marshawn Lynch. And actually, the quarterbacks did better than the running backs, which surprisingly, because Derrick Henry's a running back. But hey, and actually, they didn't get as much reach as a lot of the Alabama stuff. So I probably won't post too much more about the NFL. A lot of college fans just apparently just don't really like the NFL. I love the NFL, so maybe I just need to start an NFL page so I can make that stuff on there.
Feel free to write what you want to write. Yeah, but that's the point. I mean, not everything you post has to be congruent with the actual topic, but it needs to mostly be congruent with your topic. That way, it needs to relate in some way, shape, or form. Whether,
Ooh.
We lost Valerie. She'll pop back on.
I found what was
she'll come back. Go ahead.
What you can do in your Facebook search, which is like amazing, you can go in there and search interests of fans who like Derrick Henry fan page, and it will give you a list of all the interests that people who like my page like. And like some of the top ones were like fishing, Alabama football, obviously, and you can actually take that. So now I see fishing, and I'm like, maybe it's the off season, so I should be posting more about fishing because it's about to warm up. People love fishing, and hunting. Hunting was another one. So, I might be posting more fishing and hunting days.
Exactly. So that's awesome point there. And let's just do a quick segue here to the next item on our list, because we really have about 10 minutes left here, and I really want to touch on some stuff with respect to let me just give an example here. So let me actually share my screen first.
Okay. We're going to do the vintage thing.
Well, not necessarily that just yet, but I'm going to just your point you just made. So you're talking about your getting over to share my screen. Be just 1 second. You're talking about
monetizing.
Well, you're talking about Derrick Henry here. So, and the fact that you see these people like stuff other than football. So let's just, I'm showing real quick on my screen the FB LeadFinder tool, which is a little system. Is this screen flashing for you? I have no idea what it's doing.
No, it's good. It's not flashing, yeah.
All right. So the FB LeadFinder tool is a really awesome tool. It's a web-based tool that allows you to search by keyword. All right, so interest in your case, what you're referring to. So, for example, you found that they want to hear about fishing. Well, say you're starting to post content about fishing on your Derrick Henry page, but then you also can reach out and find fan pages about fishing, right? And even let's say we're going to put Alabama in here. We're going to find fishing pages in Alabama. Say again?
I was going to say that, but yeah, you're good. Awesome.
So you can look for pages that are unique to that topic in a particular state or city, and here we have pages that have high like count as well as talking about. So you can find those pages that are most trafficked by their community, and then you can target any ads you run to these specific fan pages that are getting high traffic counts, so that you can you already know that they like fishing. You already know they're talking about fishing. You're posting fishing content on your other page. So as you create that content, you can then create ads that will drive traffic to these types of pages. So I love FB LeadFinder for this because it actually helps me quickly find pages. And you saw I just typed that in, how fast that brought those back to me. You can't do this in Facebook. You can't find these type. You can search one off, but you can't get it like this in a list. You can't export it in a spreadsheet. I also can hit Start Collection here, and I can go out and collect all the user IDs associated with these pages. And in turn, Sharon asked this question earlier about what would you do with the UI once you get those off the list. So you can hit Start Collection here, and it'll bring the list for me to download. And you can in turn take that into the Power Editor in Facebook.
We need a custom audience.
Custom audience,
okay.
That's right.
So it's giving you emails.
Actually gives you the user ID numbers, not the email address itself.
Oh, but that
UID.
still works in the Power Editor.
Yes, you can use either UIDs or emails, either one.
Because I teach a lot of my smaller businesses, if they already have a list of maybe 300, 500 people from their customer database, they can actually pull that into the Power Editor and target those people on Facebook. So, because some people see find us on Facebook, but if they're not on their phone, they're not going to do it immediately. So what they can do is they can take the list of all their customers that they already have and just kind of nurture them and get them onto their Facebook page. Right,
exactly.
So I have a question on this. For when you have these pages and you can see what they're talking about, would you target those pages? Would you target all those people even if they're not Alabama fans?
Well, you can target the page and then narrow your location by state if you wanted.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've actually took out the Alabama part of my narrowing because there's a lot of Alabama fans across the country.
Exactly.
So I just target to whoever has an interest in Alabama football now. So it's pretty broad, but
yeah, it is. And so to your point, you don't have to narrow it down by state, but you could if you wanted to. You know, if you felt like, depending on whatever your niche is. In your case, you're talking Alabama football. That's everywhere. So. But depending on, say, if you had a really local business that was pretty narrowed to a specific area, even in Alabama or whatever state you may live in or country, you can narrow it down by city and state in your ad. So
yeah, but keep in mind when you do that, your ads are going to be more expensive.
Yes, exactly.
It always sounds great to have 1 or 2 cent likes, but I mean you can really only get those when you're targeting, I would say maybe 500,000 or more people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to find your target audience in your small little area, and it's hard to find 500,000 people. So you're going to be paying more. So.
Yeah, and it depends on what you're doing. So I was actually referring to not necessarily a like ad. You could be running a page post ad based on something that you're running. So it really depends, because I think the more narrow you're running on those page post ads, and if it's a good engaging ad, you're going to really get some good traffic to it, which will bring your cost down. It's just a matter of setting expectations, I think, with people in terms of their the ads. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks all fine and dandy, but you also want to, keep it transparent, because I think also another thing. This is off the likes campaign, but if you use like the website conversions, you can track how many people buy things and how many people sign up for your lists, and that'll help you get like a like per or the cost per conversion, and that's a better and for some cases, that's a better judgment, because if you're trying to sell a product or a service, you're going to see how much it's costing you to get the person into your marketing funnel.
Right, exactly. It looks like, Val has some internet issues, so she's back with us. Hey, Val. Can you hear us? Okay, so I want to jump over right now before we run out of time here and talk a little bit about how to monetize a fan page. So you've gone through all this work, Molly, and you've created this Derrick Henry page. So what are some ideas on this Derrick Henry page that you've had about how you can actually create some income from the following that you're building?
Yeah, what's awesome about it though is like I live in Alabama and I love football, so it's like not really a job to post and to be engaged with people. So for people who are looking for other ways to make money but they don't want to do hard work, if you find something you like, you can do this. So my ideas for monetizing are one, I want to do a t-shirt. I want to do one for the A-Day, which is like the spring game, and then I want to do one for like the season, and maybe do a couple more between, but I want to make sure that I get the most out of each one rather than having a million different ones. But what you can use is it's this awesome platform. I'm not sure when it was started, but it's called Teespring, teespring.com. And what you can do is you can design a t-shirt, and you can actually hire people to design it for you if you're not a creative person, which I probably will end up doing because I'm not creative. At least I'm left-brained. Someone else could probably design one way better. But what you can do is you can design the t-shirt, set a goal for how many t-shirts you want to sell. So depending upon your goal, you can see how much money you'd make because you set the price on the t-shirt. So for me, I'm in Alabama, and people are not necessarily super cheap, but they're not going to pay $20 for an Alabama t-shirt because they can go to Walmart and get one for $10.
Yeah.
So the design of the shirt and the cost of the shirt have to be reasonable, and I need to sell a lot of them to make a lot of money. But once the fan page count gets pretty high, I plan to make the shirts or get the shirts designed, and then all you have to do is take the link and put it on your Facebook page, and it links them to the Teespring, which is the campaign, and they will and they handle all of the fulfillment. So somebody goes into Teespring, they pick their shirt size, they order it, they pay for it, and then Teespring ships them the t-shirt after the campaign is over, and all you do is make the profit on the top. So if you sell the shirts for a $3 cost, $3 profit, and you sell 200 shirts, you make $600. But all you have to do is send people to that link. And that's one way of monetizing with t-shirts. The other way is you can become affiliates of different networks like eBay or Amazon or pretty much a lot of websites that sell things have affiliate programs where you can sell and then make a percentage of the sales from the traffic you send. So I'm sure I'll be looking for Alabama stuff on eBay to post later and become an associate so I can make some money.
So a question came in, and this would be a good place to answer it right here. So
okay.
Why did you create this page, Molly, in terms of like how does this benefit your business specifically? Why did you create this?
This has nothing to do with my business. I pretty much created it because I'm engaged to an Alabama fan, so eventually I probably am going to have to be one, even though I'm a Gator fan. I like to post things in my Gator shirt. But I really did it because the past weekend when we were in San Diego, people talking about what do you want, what drives you and stuff. For me, it was like sports. Like, I love sports. I've always played sports. I can talk football all day, any day. So really, I started it because I love football, and I wanted to get into that niche of being able to work with athletes and being able to work with maybe sports teams. So I kind of started it to kind of give myself a case study, so if I ever somehow get an opportunity to work with an athlete or a sports team, I have a case study to where I can say this is what I was able to do, and how many likes I was able to get, and all that good stuff with the ads. So
you're building social proof for yourself is what you're doing right now. So it does have something to do with your business, even though you don't think it does right now, but it really does, because you're practicing, you're proving that you know what you're doing, you're proving that you're going to be able to actually do the same for someone else. So it's actually a great exercise, and as you move from where you are today, I mean, this page is a little over a week old, so you haven't really even had a tremendous amount of time to play with it just yet. So I would say, what are your next steps with this page right now, Molly? Because I have a couple ideas.
What are my steps with the page?
Yeah, what are your steps with this page?
Really, I'm just going to keep posting funny Alabama, like, I guess, sayings and pictures and stuff, because that's what I post something about. You know how in The Lion King, like Mufasa is telling Simba, this is the prime land, that's, you don't go over there into, I don't remember what it's called, but basically there was like words over it that was like, this is Alabama, over there's Auburn, I don't want you to ever go over there, or something like that. And that blew up. So stuff like that is what I'm going to try to share the most. And then I want to monetize with the shirts, and I don't want to run people off by monetizing too much, though, because it will run people off. And if you start, if you have a page like you're the vintage lady that right now she's not trying to sell anything, and people like that. But then once you start, you got to do it sparingly. Maybe 10-20% of your posts maybe not even that much. You want to post where you're trying to make money. But people do realize that, you know, money is to be made. So you kind of have to find that good balance of money and free content and funny things.
Right.
So
I would say too that for me that one of the things that's, and I'm sorry, we're just running out of time, guys. We're going to have to cut loose here in just a few minutes, and I'm going to pop over in just a second, be sure we've answered everyone's questions. But this has run really long today, and I apologize, but we just had so much awesome content we wanted to share with you, and still really haven't gotten to everything we want to do. So we're going to actually have to schedule a follow-up to this conversation, because I think we still have some really other topics. This could just really build on itself. But like, for example, the one fan page that Molly's referring to is called, there's a couple of them. One of them is called Vintage Freak Show is the name of it, and the other one is called Paint the Town Red. This young lady has built these fan pages completely organically. She has not run the first ad. The Paint the Town Red fan page has over 50,000 fans on it, and the other one, the Vintage Freak Show is the name of it, has over 30,000 fans, and it's only about 6 months old. And the main thing for me that I want to say for Virginia that built those pages is that you have to start collecting emails. As Valerie touched a minute ago, once you've established that list, you have control of the messaging that you're handing out to those folks. So you're getting that information out on your Facebook page, and you're starting to build those relationships there. But then you also have the ability to, using a tool like 22 Social or other platforms, to actually generate an email list by bringing people into a funnel. And right now you're giving such awesome content on your fan page, just creating, and I'll be glad to work with you on this myself, because she and I are family actually, so I can work with her directly and help her kind of fill in the gaps on what she's missing right now on her fan page to build out that list. So same for you, Molly. You've got this awesome content you're putting out, but that's a good place for you to start next, I'm thinking, is to start generating that list.
I am planning to run maybe like a contest for like a free t-shirts, like a football, like an Alabama, anything Alabama accessory, football watch, anything really. And then for people to win, they have to go to like the Facebook tab and enter their information to be entered to win. So that is on my my thought process of getting the email addresses. I don't necessarily want to make like email campaigns or anything with it. So what to do with those email lists, I'm not sure. But I do know in the custom audiences, you can actually, if you have emails, you can build out from the emails of people who are like those people. So that might be another good way to target more people with my ads. But other than that, I'm not quite sure what I would do with the email addresses.
Yeah, so there you go. That's another upcoming episode of our show that I'll bring someone on that can actually help us work that in more detail. And I know Valerie has some experience herself with that, but and I do the same even with my restaurant. It was a struggle for me initially, and I have close to 1,000 names now on my list for my restaurant just from running a weekly contest where I give away a cake every week. And, that was a struggle for me as well, and it's something that I'm learning along the way. But it's all about building relationships. We don't need to focus on the fact that we have all these names if we just want to sell to people. It's not about that. It's about developing those relationships with people along the way and giving them good value so that at the point in time you do want to reach out and offer something for sale, they'll respond positively and not negatively by jumping off your list because you've oversold and not given. So as you said earlier, that ratio, it has to be giving a whole lot more than you're selling. So
for sure. And then actually, that I would just say on that topic to read the book Jab 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 Right Hook.
Yeah. Yes. Very good point. Very good point. Okay, so let's see. One other thing here is I just want to point out a couple of things too. I asked Virginia some questions about how she built this following, because I thought this was pretty interesting, how she finds content to post and whatnot. I didn't really get into as much detail from her about how she finds the content, but she is just a real history buff, if you will. She loves everything about her fan page is about old Hollywood, basically. So she posts a lot of pinup gals. She posts a lot of content about their life and history of each one of these different people. And her other page that she calls Vintage Freak Show is all around, sort of kind of like a Ripley's Believe It or Not page around vintage. So it's basically like 1960s and back. And she just posts all different kinds of stuff. And she even went so far as she's created a group, and I thought this was genius. We do this ourselves, but I think it's awesome that she's come up with this on her own as well. She created a group on Facebook of other vintage page owners, and they cross-promote one another. So they post inside the group what they want shared, and then they all go share it for each other. That's an awesome way to collaborate, and was one of the reasons why I showed you guys FB LeadFinder today, because you could do the exact same thing in your niche. If you use a tool like FB LeadFinder, you can go out and find pages that are getting a lot of traffic and build relationships with those page owners and create social alliances together, maybe even put together a group where you can share each other's content. It's just a really great way of building engagement on your page for no cost. I mean, it's free to do that. It just takes a little bit of your time to work the magic, and get out there and do a little elbow grease and find the groups, find the pages to develop the relationships with. And then running contests, like Molly just pointed out, that's a great way, and a way that Virginia has grown her following. She runs, she actually has found some authors that have written books around vintage, around some of the old Hollywood stars, and she'll have a book giveaway and that kind of thing. So that's how she's drawing people to her page as well.
Does she not does she not get a list when she does those contests?
Not right now. She's
running timeline contests.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, she's just doing this has totally been a hobby for her. So,
yeah.
Us talking with her over the course of the weekend, she kind of sees a vision for converting this into some dollars for her family. I mean, she is a stay-at-home mom, and she's got beautiful children, and what other way to earn some extra income than to take your passion and hobby and actually turn it into a little bit of extra money to take the pressure off on the family budget. So I'm just really excited that what we planned to talk about here today was already kind of set in place, and then her coming up out of the woodwork for our discussion, I think, was just meant to be, because really what we came here to do today was help people, and the fact that we can share information that'll help someone bring a little bit extra income to their family and make things more comfortable at home, and maybe even give them a little bit better of a lifestyle, or pay for medicines that they may need, or groceries or gas. Times are tough out there, and if you can find a way to make a little bit extra money, I think it's great. So I'm just excited that we were able to actually pull her into this conversation and share her fan pages. And if you like old Hollywood stars, follow her page, Paint the Town Red. I'll share these links over in the comment stream here shortly. Now I'm going to pass this back to Valerie just real quick, Val, to see if you have anything else, and I'm going to go look at the questions real quick.
Okay, sorry, my internet cut out, so I kind of missed part of that. When I left off, Molly was doing a great job talking about her page. So, I don't have a whole lot to add. I think you've done a great job, Libby, moderating and keeping it all together. It's hard to run a hangout like this, and you expose some of the difficulties in running an ad too. People a lot of times think Facebook ads, oh yeah, those are easy, I'll just throw one up. And I have people contact me all the time, yeah, I have this big thing that starts tomorrow, can you just get it all done? And yeah, I want the stuff to start coming to me tomorrow. They think that you just snap your fingers and it all happens, but we expose some of the realities today. The reality is you've got to think of your end goal, create a strategy, and then come up with all the different pictures, headlines, copy, etc., and then test what works. And what worked today might not work tomorrow, so you got to start all over again. It's kind of a continuous cycle.
Well, yeah, and the fact that Facebook changes things, you have to be prepared for that, right? And respond accordingly, which is why you got to monitor your stats. Exactly. How do you see the breakdown of the people who have liked your page? That's a question we've been asked.
if you go to your page insights, and
You want to share your screen real quick and show that, you think?
yeah, I can do that. Let me get something ready here.
Okay, and then we've got, while you're pulling that up, I'll just add real quick. So we've got a lot of people that have asked about how to monetize. So we've shared several different concepts here with respect to affiliate offers, T-shirts. You can also be directing traffic to your own shopping system that you may have, like an Etsy shop or something like that. You know, you have to build your following, give people really good content, and then give them a reason to follow your links. So those are some really good ways to get started. And if you have any additional ideas and how you would think to monetize, I'd love to hear your ideas. Share them over on the comment stream. Okay, Val.
Go ahead, Mom.
Are you ready? Okay, well, I was just going to throw in there, too. You can make an ad that targets people who don't like you. So you can actually monetize to people who aren't a fan of you on, like, newsfeed and right sidebar without jeopardizing the people who are following you. So that's one thing that Ryan was talking to me about.
Well, yeah, and not only can you do that, so you're doing it to your non-fans, but right, you can do that. You can do it as dark posts too, so you're not spamming up your news feed for your actual fans, so they're seeing post after post.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, and you alluded to it earlier, Molly. It's always good to keep balance. You know, for content, for advertising, for everything. What I like to do is the 80-20 rule. You know, 80% education, entertainment, you know, that realm, and then 20% where you're promoting sales. And in some niches, it actually becomes a 90-10, because even at 20%, people will be turned off. So that's just a good rule of thumb I like to follow for content, and, you know, content versus promos and sales sort of thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay,
so Val,
can you see my page?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so right here, when you're an admin of a page, you have all this extra, and then if you click
So
see,
maximize your window real quick, because you're kind of small.
Yep. All right, is that good?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, so I just clicked on Insights, and here is where you can have all your insights. And if you want to know who is liking your page, I mean, you can see the likes here and everything, but if you want to know the actual, did you want to know the actual people or who?
The breakdown of your people who have liked your page, it says.
I think it was demographics. I think that's what she meant, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's also
your audience.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to people, so here's where you can see the breakdown, and this is what Molly had shown earlier. Now, on my particular page, I mean, I've got a lot of younger guys, but that's on this page. Like on my Fresh Food, Fresh Start page, there's a lot of older women on that page. So it really all depends. And then, you know, this is just my fans, and then what you can see is people reached. And then you can also see people engaged. So you can see, you
have more younger boys, but your older women are
right. That's the key thing. And you know, a lot of them are my closer friends or people that I'm in groups with. So that's why that toggled greatly. When I ran some of my ads last August, a lot of young guys hopped on, and like their friends hopped on, and that's the one thing I see that can be good or bad with the friends and the sponsored stories, and that part of it is if they're you can't target the demographics and specifics of their friends. It's just their friends. So if you're wanting social media people, you know, to come on, for example, but the majority of their friends aren't social media people. So if you're targeting their friends, you're actually doing yourself a disservice in that case. Right. But in your case, Molly, with your fan page for Alabama, if they live in Alabama and they're a fan, then most likely their friends are fans. So that's why it works so good for you in that situation. Yeah. And those are the things people don't think about. I mean, you really got to think those things out to know what works and doesn't work, because it's totally different depending on the niche and depending on what you're going after. But I was going to go back back here. So if we go back to the page, this is something that a lot of people want to see too. As the people are liking their page, right here, if you click on See Likes, then you can actually see the individual people who are liking your page. And I have my clients do this a lot because they don't really believe that I can target, as well as can on a like campaign. So they'll come in here and see who has liked the page. Well, you can look at these people, and kind of get a feel for, if they're in your ideal target market and what you're really after, which it's kind of nice to be able to do that.
Also, one thing I'm going to point out while you're right here, the pages to watch, I'm actually using that with my Alabama page to track other fan pages of similar, maybe not necessarily Alabama, but just similar pages. It gives you an idea of you can find other people that are in your niche and are posting things like you are, so you can kind of give yourself goals to go up and beat other people.
You can. I would just caution that whatever pages you tag in there to watch, that page admin gets a notification that you're tracking them and watching them. So you just need to be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. The other question that we had. All right, so we'll follow up and have another hangout. And we may even do it off of not during the my weekly hangout. We might just go out and just pull off and do a special hangout to dive a little bit deeper into a couple of these topics. But I do want to say that Molly and Valerie are both have offered up to do a handful of free strategy sessions for some of you guys if you're interested. If you want to talk a little bit more in detail, ask a couple more questions that we weren't able to touch on today, and I'll be sharing a link for each of them in the comment stream that will lead you to a survey where you need to answer a handful of questions for them first, so that they can understand a little bit about, a little bit more about you and their business, and then they want to understand a little bit more about you and your business, and then they'll be able to jump on a call with you and be more efficient at helping you during that conversation. So do understand that you'll need to run through a little bit of a survey first, and then you'll be given the link to schedule a strategy session with them. So I'm going to also be opening up some strategy sessions myself. I just got to get some things lined up, free up a little bit more time in my schedule, and I'll be glad to do that as well. Now, one other thing I do want to say, we had a little bit of technical issues today that drove us behind, and normally I try very hard to start right on time and actually end on time, but we had so much to cover today. And guys, we've had, right now we've got 17 people still on live with us, and I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you hanging on all the way here. We've been right almost at 2 hours we've been on live, and I'm so grateful that you've taken time out of your really busy schedule today to join us here. It really means a lot to me. It means a lot to Valerie and Molly. I know that you guys have joined us today and focused and helped us get through this content, and you've given such great questions over here. Some of these we're not going to answer live right now. We're just going to pop the answers over into the group because some of it we've touched on already, but in the comment stream we'll actually answer those for you. So if you didn't get to join us live today, I hope you enjoyed the replay and just go down through the questions in the comment box and see if there's anything that you may have a question about yourself that we probably already answered for you. And let's see. And then one other thing I do want to mention is that I really had been thinking about this and wasn't really sure how to pull it off, but with the technical issues that I had with Virginia today, it kind of was difficult, but in the end, we really got to review her business in a way that I hope helps her going forward and maybe help someone else who's in a similar situation. I do want to actually start having a hot seat as a part of my weekly hangout. So in the coming week or so, I'm going to have an option on my weekly live hangout page for you to submit and apply, if you will, to being a hot seat person for that given topic for that week. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably be sending that out in my email distribution the next week or so once I get that set up. So with that, I do want to say thank you one more time and ask that if you found value in this today, if you would go over to my fan review application, and that's Libby's fan review. Oh, I'm sorry, let me get this right. It's libbysreviews.com, and post a review and let me know what you really enjoyed, what you learned, what was a really big aha for you today, a big takeaway that you're going to be able to go put into action in your business today, because honestly, that's what we're here for, is to help you and make some improvement and give you some traction in your business. Valerie, Molly, any parting words for you girls?
I just want to say thank you so much, Libby, for inviting me on. It was really great, and I love what you do and how you're all about helping others. I mean, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Appreciate you coming on and sharing, because there's so much information and content out there, and you're doing it every day, and it's good to share from folks that are really doing it, not just talking concepts, but actually doing the work. So, Molly?
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to say thanks as well. I think it's kind of destiny that we joined the same random group from San Diego, and we're able to connect and still be in the same area. So I'm doing a live seminar in Huntsville, so if anybody wants to come to that, it's next Saturday. Just shoot me an email. It'll be Libby's on the link that Libby sends out. You'll be able to find my contact information and stuff like that. So if you're interested in doing something live.
Molly, post the link to your, or maybe we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the logistics on that, of how people can get in touch with you about your seminar coming up. That'd be great.
Yeah. It's just going to be fun. I'm going to do some random hot seats as well. Really just trying to help out some of the local businesses here and teach them a lot of what I've learned over the past year. So.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
All right, girls. Thank y'all for joining, and stay tuned, because I have a really exciting guest on next week. My actual business coach, Nick Unsworth, will be joining me live next week on my show. I'm really excited about that, and he is going to really light you guys on fire. His whole business is called Life on Fire, and I'm really excited to have him on and share some really important content, some stuff that I even learned last week about mindset and how important it is to get yourself in the right place of your mind to actually make progress in your life and your business. So I'm excited to share him with you guys, and look forward to answering any of your questions. Just pop over on my fan page, and post a question on my timeline if you have any other things that we can help you with. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks. Guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.